Hey, what is up everybody? Kieran here bringing you another video, and this time I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. This is going to be one of my new attempts at a series, I suppose, and what it is it's called The Thing Is. There are a lot of games that I've played in the past, a lot of games that I've delved so much time into, and I truly love for some reasons, and this is going to be the thing is that these are going to be the reasons why I ended up stop playing the game, or the things I don't like about the game, and just kind of a little rant. So if I want y'all to pick this apart, give me any kind of tips or anything like that, what you like about the video, what you dislike about the video. This will be the first of its kind, and I decided, this should be on the thing that I have the biggest love-hate relationship with, and that is Terra. So let's get right on in. Alright, let me talk a little bit about Terra. For those of you who know me, I've played Terra for 2.5 years. I made a lot of videos for it and everything like that, and realistically, I still like Terra. But, well, first, let me go over the good things. Terra has the best combat I've ever seen. I probably ever will see. This means that the fluidity of the iframes, as well as just the overall combat, the impact that it feels, the times that you can counter your opponents, how quickly everything registers, everything in my opinion is pristine in terms of the overall combat system, and I think that's what holds a lot of people onto Terra, is that they love the combat so much. The world of Terra is awesome. It is one of the only MMOs that I've ever felt that I've actually been a little player in a big world. If you're running around in the open world, like you'll probably see it across these videos, there's a lot of giant statues, big swords stuck in the earth. It actually makes you feel like you're just a small character in a big world, rather than this almighty super god being that exists that's going to wreck everything. And like I said, I do love Terra still, but, and here we go, the thing is. Alright, the thing is about Terra is the optimization has always been a gigantic fucking issue. What the optimization is however good of a computer, you could have dual SLI Titans and a 8-core processor, I think they make those now, and you're still going to get 20 FPS in Velica. This is due to just poor coding and use of the Unreal Engine. And through this as well, through using the Unreal Engine, you're also dealing with things like desync, because the Unreal Engine was originally designed mainly for first-person shooter games. Okay, this means that it uses a prediction technology in terms of movement and everything like that, and with Terra using all these skills which move you around everywhere, well, the server's basically saying they're here while in truth, on your screen, they're right in front of you. Everyone's experienced this, where you're fighting a fucking Castanic Slayer, and all of a sudden they're hitting in this random-ass direction, but guess what? You're still getting all the damage. You're still getting knocked down. You're playing a Berserker, like I have for so many years. You'll fear a person after they retail, and then all of a sudden, yes, I'm gonna get this fucking KD combo. I got this in the bag. Just fucking kidding. Your hit doesn't land. This is due to desync. This is due to the Unreal Engine, and probably poor networking and poor coding on their end. So that's always, desync's a whole thing that I could rant and rage about in itself. But the main thing that I want to address is the progression of Terra and where it's come from, where it's gone. So right now in Terra, all content in terms of PvE, in terms of PvP, is, well, fairly easy, or not rewarding in a sense. This is my biggest problem, is that on Terra, whenever you log on to a game, you want to feel rewarded. You want to play the game, and you want to actually get something out of it. In PvE, in terms of PvE, you're clearing content to enchant gear that has really no value, because you don't need that gear. You don't need that gear to be competitive in terms of PvE. Realistically, the castle structure or whatever, the guild versus guild structure to get your sky castles is flawed. It's shallow. It's just not. It's not competitive in a sense. It's not like your old school Crucible Flame where it actually felt like there were teams competing. You wanted the best gear so you could get the best clear time, so you could actually feel rewarded from that. That's not really a thing anymore. So there's no reward in terms of PvE because you can clear all the PvE content with 2 seasons ago gear that's plus 12, which you really don't even have to work for, because the content itself is not mechanically challenging outside of, I would say, SCHM was probably the hard... one of the hardest things, other than MCHM. Those were the glory days, in my opinion. And then, in terms of PvP, guess what? A majority of the content is fucking equalized. What is the point of actually gearing, then? The only thing that you actually utilize that gear for is Gridiron, which is poorly designed to begin with. The crystals are fucked, as well as just the overall... The design of that, along with the optimization of Terra, make it just this clusterfuck of a battleground that is flawed, in my opinion. The solo queue, which is, majority of what I enjoy doing, the classes are completely fucking imbalanced because they don't put any form of effort in terms of actually making the gear good enough for every single class. This is why you see things like Reaper Warrior, which don't require a shit ton of attack speed to be completely valid, but their damage outputs are fucking insane. Me, on the other hand, a Berserker, I fucking suck in solo queue. Alright, and then on top of that, the next up, what else can you do in terms of PvP? Okay, Corsairs, guess what? It's still equalized. And that's realistically the only battleground that people actually do, is because it queues with both level 65s as well as the lower levels. That's really the only one that actually pops. Solo queue is completely imbalanced. So, what's the reason of me actually doing all this content? To get Tensis gear. Tensis gear is only going to be applicable in actual 3v3, which desync plagues, as well as just the absolute no queue of actually 3v3 going on. No one plays competitive 3v3 anymore due to these basically problems, and there's no real reason for you to actually play 3s other than EPing. There's no actual gear that goes like, oh look, I accomplished this. There's no fucking... You don't have any, end of the season rewards. You don't get a special mount. You don't even get a special title anymore. There's no point to actually getting the gear to do 3s, let alone open world PvP basically doesn't exist. Because, well, for one, there's no point. There's no reward. There's no reason outside of guild versus guild, which guild versus guild is another thing that's completely dead, and I think a fucked up system. So, there's no real reason for me to actually play the game. There's no real reason for me to actually get gear, because I don't feel there's no reason to. I can accomplish every single thing, for the most part, without even getting this gear, without putting forth the effort, and feeling rewarded for doing the actual content. So that's one big issue. And then also, the progression of the game and the releasing of classes. For those of you who have watched my stream, you've heard me rant about this a lot of times before. But the design of the new classes, this is yes, the Reaper, the Gunner, and the Brawler, which is coming out today, actually. Okay, so every single one of these classes, if you notice, this might have been a design to actually combat desync. However, what it actually does is every single skill that they fucking have is just this gigantic AoE skill, this clusterfuck, which removes the finesse in the game. If you are playing a Slayer, if you are playing a Berserker, if you're playing a Lancer, if you're playing a Warrior, if you're playing any of these classes that existed before the quote-unquote new classes of Terra, you could refine your playstyle. You could make this character and learn the nitty-gritty little mechanics of the class, and that's what made you a good player. However, you look at Reaper, you look at Gunner, you look at probably Brawler as well. They're shallow. They're this gigantic AoE class that uses 3 or 4 different skills that you essentially spam, and then you will find success because it doesn't require you to actually play well. It just requires you to aim in a general fucking direction. Of course, there's going to be some, awareness and whatnot that makes you a slightly better player by playing those classes. However, they don't have the finesse that the old school classes have, and I think that this is due to just being it's more of a money grab. This leads into my next point. So, with the design of the new classes, they always go through a marketing campaign saying, look at our fucking new class, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be awesome. all you new players, this is the real action, true action combat that you're going to love and that you're not going to find in any other MMO. Guess what? What this does is that it brings in the new players. Okay, the design of TERA and the design that they've been releasing content and everything along those lines is oriented around bringing new players in to play for 6 months and then to basically say, okay, well, now you're kind of stuck here. You've probably invested $50 because I want to look cute. You want to look cute. You want to look cool as fuck. You're probably going to invest a little bit of money. And then at that point, you're just kind of stuck there. You might have made some friends along the way because the TERA community, for the most part, is pretty solid. Outside of the competitive 3v3, I've been over that in the past. But you know, basically the newer players aren't intended to stay around. They're intended to come in, drop a little bit of money, and then get dissatisfied with the repetitive, unfulfilling, unrewarding content that you're going to find. But, you know, a couple might stick around for combat purposes. Instead of what I think that they should do is focus on creating good content. Focus on creating solid just gameplay and whatnot. And then you'll keep the players who have been around for a long time. I guarantee I've spent more money than I would say probably 90% of the TERA community on TERA because I want to look as cute as fuck as I am in real life, of course. But you know, like for the most part, they don't create this content. They don't focus on keeping the old school players who are going to, in the end, pay you more money. They're the more radical ones. They're going to bring whatever new friends or, you know, whatever it may be into the game. Instead, they're just wanting this, they're shallowing out the game to get a little bit of money out of a player and then just leave them. That's why they're focusing on releasing a lot of new classes that are unrefined, but it looks really cool for new players. I know a lot of you have watched my videos, probably are maybe experiencing the same thing. If you're new, try TERA out, play it, but don't expect for it to hold you in the long time outside of the combat system. You know, and then also one last little detail is the reskinning that they're doing is really annoying me. I hate that the content that they release is basically give a mob maybe 1 or 2 new abilities, have it look the exact same or slightly recolored or whatever outside of one last boss. This just shows that Bluehole Studios doesn't give a fuck. They're just trying to release content and bring the newer players, which to them it looks great. You know, I went to the new starting zone and all of a sudden I saw miniature versions of the bears that I've been seeing the entire game. I'm just like, fucking serious? I understand most MMOs do this, but it really annoys me whenever I see things like that. And then, you know, you're gonna look at costumes. They're releasing tons of costumes, releasing tons of mounts. All they are fucking at least the mounts are all reskins. You know, the cat mount is the old school ogre that they just released, and then like EXTRM is Sheldon. Like, you know, they just reskin things and try and make more money off of it, which kind of irks me. Like, put forth a fucking effort to actually redo, you know, create new content to make it look cool, rather than just reskinning things constantly. Alright, that's the end of the rant. Hopefully y'all like the Thing Is series, because I want to do this, and TERA obviously is the closest thing to a love-hate relationship with the game, so I thought this would be a good start for it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like it. Make sure to share it. If you want to debate with me in the comments or anything like that, feel free to. I try to respond and talk, and, you know, outside of flame wars and all that shit. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch y'all next time.